Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin with yet another chapter of social science history, which says civilizing the native, educating the nation. As the name suggests, civilizing the natives and educating the nation. This was the whole sole motive of Britishers as and when they had their advent in our country. British advent worked with a motive to civilize Indians. How to civilize Indians? Because they saw few relevant examples in our country as forest laws. They wanted to introduce new laws. They wanted to bring forward English language in our country so that Indians ought to be civilized. Because according to them, Indians were not at all civilized as they did not settle at one place. They even believed in superstitious thoughts and many other in this form. This is the reason why we need to study more about British advent in our country and what all laws relating to Indian education system were emphasized in our country. If we talk about Indian education system, this system has all of its relevance from British times. Let's begin with chapter with the term Orientalism. Now, what do we mean by Orientalism? Orientalism is a word which totally relates to the knowledge of East. This was emphasized by Western people, Western culture. When these people they came to our country, when Britishers came to our country, they wanted to learn more of Eastern languages. They were emphasizing on Asiatic languages. Here in this chapter, we'll simply focus on Asiatic languages. These people, these were the Orientalists, these were the Englishmen who focused on Indian languages. They wanted to know more about ancient texts, India's ancient texts, because according to them, India's ancient texts had ample to reach all across the world. If we take the example of William Jones, yes, William Jones was one of the linguists. William Jones was one of the Orientalists. William Jones also thought in the same manner. According to him, Indian ancient texts had enough through which they could conquer our country. It is only with the help of ancient Indian texts that they could win the hearts of Indians. It was very easy for them to know more and more about ancient Indian texts. Let's see what William Jones did when he reached India. In 1783, when William Jones came to India, he was a junior judge. He actually possessed the knowledge of law, but not just law. He was a linguist. Linguist means a person who can read and write various languages. He knew so many languages, inclusive of Greek, Latin, French, English, Arabic, and Persian. Along with which he got to learn Arabic language also with a friend, with the help of a friend. Then he wanted to know more about ancient Indian texts. He wanted to know more about Sanskrit language. This is the reason why every time he used to sit all across Indian pundits, all across the pundits to learn Sanskrit language. He wanted to grasp poetries. He wanted to grasp all the couplets, all the grammar which has been taken up in Sanskrit language. This was the reason why he considered himself to be a great scholar and a learner of so many languages. Remember, he was a linguist, he was an Orientalist as well. He learned philosophy. He had knowledge in everything. He had the knowledge of politics. He had the knowledge of arithmetic. He had the knowledge of medicine and other sciences as well. This was the reason why he attracted so many people of his type. This is something which happens to us also, no? We like the company of people whose thoughts actually match to ours. So then here also the same thing happened with him. There were another Englishmen like him, like Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nathaniel Hallhead. Remember, these two were also the Orientalists. They also thought in the same manner as William Jones did. They too wanted to discover more on ancient Indian heritage and they want to master all the Indian languages. Why they wanted to master the Indian languages? Because if they wanted to rule over our country, it is through ancient Indian texts that they can win the confidence, they can win the hearts of Indians. This is the reason why they learn various languages, including Sanskrit and other Asiatic languages. We can call them Persian, Arabic, and other languages, Asiatic languages. So when these three people who had like knowledges, who had like interests, when they sat together, they formed a society. This society came to be known as the Asiatic Society. Yeah, and the name is also absolutely perfect for it, Asiatic Society, which pertains to the knowledge of Asia, Asiatic countries. So then this is the reason why they wanted to have Asiatic Society. Jones, Henry Thomas Colebrook, and Nathaniel Halhed set up the Asiatic Society of Bengal. This was started in Bengal. And the first research paper, what we call as journal. Yeah, journal includes all the research papers which are published all across the world. So here also the same thing was done by this Asiatic Society, and this Asiatics Researches was the journal initially published by Asiatic Society. This was a very new innovation, a new research on Indian knowledge, on Indian ancient texts been conducted by these Orientalists. Now we are going to see further. You can see the images also, Asiatic Society of Bengal and Asiatic Researches. This is how they began, and this basically started from Bengal. Now we are going to see what was the impact of these company officials on other Britishers, because every Englishman cannot be an Orientalist. Every Englishman never wanted to, carry more thoughts on ancient Indian text or carry more on ancient Indian heritage. They said, according to them, still Western knowledge, English language, technical ideas, scientific ideas were much, much more important. This is what other company officials felt. Their findings will also establish the British as guardians of the English Indian texture in Indian culture. But then the other officials, the other company officials still were reluctant in studying about the ancient Indian texts. These people were continuously learning more and more on Eastern culture, on Eastern languages. We'll see. This is the reason why they established a madrasa also, or a college. A madrasa, when they had set up, they were supposed to teach Arabic and Persian languages according to the Islamic law. When they had established college, this was in 1791, the Hindu college was established in Banaras, which we call as Banaras Hindu University today. At that time, they had established Banaras Hindu College. So then this was in 1791 to preach more and more about ancient Indian texts. So this is how other Orientalists, other people, other officials of British, they tried to pinpoint, they tried to find all flaws in ancient Indian texts. According to them, Indian text or the Eastern text was full of errors, and this was completely unscientific to know more about ancient Indian texts. They even said this, that that Indian language is absolutely not serious and is light-hearted. There were so many officials who did not pay respect, didn't pay any heed to Indian languages. They wanted to make Indians civilized. And according to them, studying ancient Indian texts will never ever make Indians civilized. They had to emphasize technical knowledge. They had to be emphasized with scientific languages. And for that purpose, English was mandatory. This was the reason why they thought that grave errors of the East, finding out grave errors of the East is the utmost requirement. So that Orientalists also need to know that studying ancient Indian texts is nothing but just the waste of time. So then these were the errors they could find in ancient Indian texts. Now, next we are going to see the other category of people. These were non-Orientalists. We have studied three Orientalists, names of three Orientalists. Yeah. Now we are going to study about non-Orientalists who did not favor these ideals. These people were, if we initially begin with, this was Thomas Babington Macaulay. Macaulay's Minutes. This is a document This is a document which suggests for all the reforms in Indian education system. So then Macaulay's minutes suggests each and everything regarding to enforcement of English language in our country. If we begin to see according to Macaulay, a single shelf of a good European library was worth the whole native literature of India and Arabia. These were the words of Thomas Babington Macaulay. According to him, he said that just one shelf of an English of a Western library is equivalent to the whole text, whole scripture, everything ancient Indian texts. He is equating just one shelf with ancient texts. So here we need to know what was his view. What did he think regarding Indian education? According to him, English education should be made mandatory. And this is the reason how Indians would be able to promote, Indians will be able to live in a more civilized manner. And finally, if we see, the English Education Act of 1835 was introduced. According to this act, English Education Act of 1835, the decision was to make English as the medium of instruction for higher education. English was made the medium of instruction in a country where Hindi was wholesale the mother tongue. And to stop the promotion of Oriental institutions, we have studied about two such institutions. Yeah, the madrasas, yes, and then another example was of Banaras Hindu College. This was also an Orientalist institution. And to stop the promotion of Orientalist institution, these institutions were seen as temple of darkness. This is how English Education Act considered Indian languages, ancient Indian languages, or Oriental institutions, or the basic institutions to be useless. English textbooks were produced for schools and they were finally made mandatory. Now we are going to study about Wood's Dispatch, that is Education for Commerce. Wood's Dispatch, another document. In 1854, the Court of Directors of the English East India Company in London sent an educational dispatch. This dispatch came to be known as Wood's Dispatch. Now, this Wood's Dispatch was introduced by another Englishman. Wood's Dispatch, Charles Wood, was also a non-Orientalist. He also thought that teaching and preaching ancient Indian texts was just waste of time. So according to Charles Wood, as Charles Wood, you can see, was the president of the board of control of the company. We need to know this very clearly, that Charles Wood was the president of the board of control of the company. He had a good say in the matters of the company. So this is the reason why he wanted Indians to learn more of English language. This will enhance commercial value. This will change the choices and tastes of Indians. According to Charles Woods, Indians would know more of Western culture, and this is how they will change their choices. They will change their taste of wearing, eating habits, and each and every other habit. After which they will be emphasized to purchase Western made goods, British made goods, and they will have an excellent market in India as well. Basically, the idea was to capture market in our country. This was the reason why Charles Wood emphasized on more of English language and more of technical knowledge, scientific languages, scientific subjects, so that Indians can change their tastes and choices and can opt for westernized culture, can opt for Western style, Western dressing habits, Western eating habits, and then this will give them huge profit. If you feel like reading all the recommendations given up by Wood's Dispatch, this is a reform introduced in our country. We need to know each and everything about this reform. Further, for another chapter, yet another topic, you need to log in, subscribe, and like and share my video so that we can continue further. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.